right, y'all. Back again with our next guest. We have the beautiful, the lovely, the savage herself, Miss Corina Bianca, y'all.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Miles. It's an honor. Anything I can do to support, I'm there.
I appreciate it. I thank you for having yourself on here today, and just blessing the show. Second guest on here, and I know you're gonna say some great things. But let's hop right into it. First
Let's do
question.
it. Knock it out.
All right, tell us a little about yourself and your upbringing.
Wow. well, I was born in a random town in Missouri on an Air
Mm,
Force base. And my mother, she was really young. She had me as a teenager. And from there, we actually moved to Sacramento. So I was raised in South Sacramento,
okay.
right off the Valley High Drive.
Valley High.
And yes, I lived over there. And then at one point, we lived off the Power Inn. I mean, we've been all over Sacramento. And then eventually we migrated to Elk Grove, Laguna. So, Sacramento, I consider myself, homegrown Sacramento for sure. As far as my background, I have been a performer my entire life. From as far back as I can remember, my mother was Miss Sacramento. And so she started me out in pageantry at like 2 or 3 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, really, really little interesting dynamic there. But yeah, she had me in pageants. I was crowned Miss America in 1990. I was 3 years old, so little Miss America.
Wow, Miss
And
America.
yeah, it really, honestly, I think that truly, like at the time as a kid, I despised it. I hated it, but it really gave me so many tools for life, really. It really helped me with my confidence. We had to pick a talent, so dancing, and it got me into
Mm,
dance and performing and being able to speak. I would do interviews at 3, 4 years old with these adults, and it just really gave me a lot of the tools that I think helped me throughout life. So that was early on, and I did that for some time. I got into dance. I really got into dance through cheerleading.
okay.
And I was actually cut from my very first team. I tried out for the Luna Creek Junior Cardinals, like youth cheer
Pop Warner, right.
group. Yes.
Got you.
And it was my first time ever being cut from a team. And,
Wow.
as a kid, I think I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I didn't know how to take it because I had wanted it. Sound crazy, but my mom, like, I would always work really hard to get whatever it was that I wanted. And so what ended up happening there, one of the girls who made the team, she ended up dropping off. So I got to take her spot.
Dang. Saved by the
And
grace right there. Yeah.
it was really cool because from that point, I made it a point, like nobody will ever, ever be able to tell me that I'm not good enough for anything ever again. And I dedicated my life to working out, to training. And mind you, I'm 9 years old,
Right.
training and being better. And cheer really helped me to develop as well. So, I did that at Pop Warner, and then I went into high school with it. I became my, junior. As a junior in high school, I was the dance team cheer captain. It just really, really helped to establish who I was as a person with cheerleading and dance. So that was really
Absolutely.
cool. And aside from that, I kind of jumped there, but I had skipped a couple of grades. So I got into elementary school super early. My
Nice.
mom, I think, just wanted me out of the house.
Yes.
So she tried to get me into, preschool really early on, and I was over it. I wanted to be with the kindergartners. So I took tests and I got moved up. So I was already 1 year ahead in kindergarten.
Dang.
And I got to elementary school. And in the 5th grade, I actually challenged the Elk Grove Unified School District to skip the 6th grade and go into 7th grade. So
Wow.
it was the long process. But my mom, I mean, she was such a driving force behind that, because she's like, well, if you want to do it, then you can't just snap your fingers and do it. There's a process to it. How are you
Absolutely.
going to get from 5th grade to the 7th grade? So at the time, I used to take it as, oh, she's driving me crazy, but she was really teaching me that if you really want to do something, you need to come up with your plan, you need to execute, and you need to have some driving, factors behind that. So I ended up joining a 5th, 6th GATE class, which is like the AP courses, and I tested through all of the 6th grade stuff. So I
Wow.
then challenged the boards, and I said, here I am. I've done everything that the 6th graders have done, and I passed higher than some of the 6th graders have done. So they put me straight through to the 7th grade.
Wow. It took the whole
So,
process though to go through and really just show them. No, that's right. Keep going. I'm sorry.
it was so awesome. Like now in retrospect, I'm like, wow, that was really dope. But as a kid, I'm just like, I'm trying to be done with school. So, I say that those two things really helped build who I was then and really drive who I am now. So I was 2 years ahead in high school. I ended up graduating. I just turned 16, and I was a 12-year-old freshman. And
Dang.
it was intense. I got to Sacramento State at 16 years old. I didn't even graduate from there until I was 20. I wasn't legally able to have a drink until after I graduated college. So um,
Wow.
that's just a little bit about my upbringing, and Sacramento played a huge role in all of that, from the leaders and school and the community, just everywhere. I'm very proud to have grown up in such an amazing community.
Absolutely. Well, that's a heck of an upbringing. I had no idea about. I've known you for some years. I'm over here learning things. So originally from Missouri, I caught that. Then basically lived in
Yes.
like South Sac for your teenage years. So like from youth on up, Valley High to Elk Grove, pretty much. And you
Mm-hmm.
skipped 2 grades. I never knew that. You
Two
skipped.
grades,
What?
yes. And it was,
Wow.
honestly, I kept it a secret because in high school, even junior high school, because mind you, I was about 9, 10 years old going into junior high school.
Right.
And, as a kid, that's terrifying. You don't want to be made fun of. I was bullied for that when people actually found out about it. And I tried to cover it up. I actually ran for vice president of my class and for leadership in 7th grade, just so that I could have control over the posters. I don't know if you
Nope.
remember, when I was in junior high, they used to put up this huge poster with everyone's birthday on it.
I think so. Like leadership.
And
Yeah.
yes, in
Yes.
leadership. So I remember thinking, well, if I can get my hands on the binder that has the birthdays in it, I would be the person that made the posters and no
Yeah.
one would know. So I made
It's
it happen. I was vice president of C-Track, and
yeah.
I had full control.
There you go. But taking the process, that's what I'm seeing from even such a young age. And I think you commend your mother for that. It's just there's a process for
Absolutely.
everything and doing something. So I think you soaked that in at a very young age, is what I'm seeing from these stories you're telling me, which is great. It's beautiful just to see. It's like, dang, she really taught you that
Yes.
and gave you that at a young age. And even with the pageants, like you were saying, and gaining that confidence, and then, coming around to when you did cheerleading, not making it at first, but then overcoming that. That's amazing. That's inspiring for real. Um,
Yes.
just to piggyback on that, you said in high school you were 16 when you graduated. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. See, I thought I was a youngster when I was 17, but I'm like 16 graduating. That's
Yes, I was 16. And I always tried to hide it because, mind you, I had also ended up starting a business when I graduated high school. So I was about 17 years old, and I opened up my cheerleading and dance gym.
oh wow.
Um, and so I was a kid,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was really hard. And even like before that, I got a job at Old Navy, and I had to lie about my age because I wasn't really old enough to have a work permit. And
Right.
So it was like a curse to me growing up in high school, but now I mean it was such a blessing. I got in. I got the chance to work at Old Navy and realized that I never wanted to work retail again.
That's that life
And
is
it
a whole different
really
thing.
like it's so crazy. I'm so happy I did that because I know I kind of went left, but that really motivated me as a child to know, wow, I can work my ass off for 40 hours a week and come home with a $400 check,
Right.
or I can create my own way. And that's what I did when I was 17, when I opened up the cheerleading and dance company with my mom. And
Mm.
then, you know, you didn't really want people to know, oh, the 17-year-old. It's just, from a business standpoint, I knew as a kid, people wouldn't take me seriously if they knew that they were speaking to a 17-year-old versus, oh, she might be 19 or 20.
Right.
So
The little age
it's
factor.
been a secret of mine for a long time.
I definitely see that, but no, definitely, um, it's just the hustle, right? So you kind of you touched on that, making your side hustle your main hustle is like everyone's goal in life. I think it's like to make your
Yes.
passion, I should say, not even a side hustle, but make your passion in everyday living. So you started that when you were 17. That's a trip, and you're doing a lot more now. But
Yeah.
we'll get into that. Keep going, but I'm gonna get into my second question. I could talk to you all day. This is great.
All
Uh,
day.
Second question, Corina, we have give us a time in your life you overcame one of your most memorable hardships. An example can be financial, mental, or physical.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go with mental slash physical. Um, because obviously I was 17 trying to run my own business, figuring out finances,
It ain't easy.
but not easy, but I tried to get a grasp young age. But I would say definitely mental and physical. I have struggled with depression and anxiety my entire life, but
Mm,
I didn't really realize that I was struggling with these things until my mid 20s. So, um, you know, I would make these thoughts and the way that I would react. In my mind, I would say, oh, this is normal. Everyone probably goes through this. And I would just not really acknowledge it. Um, and that really held me back. So I felt on one hand, I was super successful
yes.
and I was proud of everything I had accomplished in my 20s. I was dancing professionally in the NBA. I was holding a career as a respiratory care practitioner and a leader in the healthcare industry. But it didn't feel like it was enough.
Right.
And I remember I read this book. It's called The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. And essentially, it's a story about a boy in a land full of basically mediocrity and the hurdles and things that he had to jump through to accomplish his dream. And there were these people that were constantly telling him, you know, just be happy with what you have. Like, you have it made, you're great. And this is what everyone wants to do. And I believe his name was Nobody in a world full of somebodies and yada, yada. It was a really cute, cool story. But I read the book and it just triggered something in me that I am living in this world of certainty and everything is already figured out.
Right.
Um, you know, on one end, and my depression kept me here because I felt like, well, I've conquered this and I have some sort of control over this and confidence. Let me stay.
Mm-hmm.
But my anxiety was telling me, well, what if there's something else out there? And what if you
Right.
go, but you know, it works, but what if you go and it doesn't? So that depression and anxiety really kept me in Sacramento for a long time.
Mm.
And I can definitely say it was one day I decided the King season was over. It was after my second season dancing. I had a whole bunch of experiences there. And I just said, you know, I want to start over. And
Mm.
I literally packed a one-way bag. I mean,
Mm.
I booked a one-way ticket to New York and I packed a carry-on bag and I moved to New York.
Wow. And how old were
I
you?
left
How old were you there? You said
Oh man, I was probably, when was this? Probably 26 or 27.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I just said, what's the worst that can happen?
Right.
And so I packed my bag. I didn't even tell my mom. I told like nobody. I told one person that I had come in and rent my apartment while I was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I just moved and
Wow.
I left my job. I left dancing. I left everybody that I knew. I didn't know anybody in New York.
Mm.
I got a hotel at the Sleepy Inn in Brooklyn,
Brooklyn.
and I was in the middle of Brooklyn, and like I had never even visited New York, so I didn't know what to expect. And I get there to call an Uber, no Ubers around. They only relied on taxis. It was just crazy.
Wow.
Um,
Whole new
so anyway,
environment.
all of that, it was a whole new environment. And I went out there. I worked with the Brooklynettes, the dance team, um, and just started putting out resumes and figuring it out. And I will say that was a really huge defining moment for me because I did it. I
Right.
went against my anxiety. I went against, that back and forth in my mind. I went against what would my mom think? What would my friends, my family? I didn't care.
Right.
It was the first time in my life that I put myself first,
Yes.
and I committed to it and I did it. And everyone thought I was nuts.
Yeah. At first, but until they see you successful, that's right.
Yeah, but it really, it was the best move of my life. Best move of
Mm.
my life. When I got there, like, whether people believe in God or the universe or speaking things into existence, whatever, I just remained humble, confident, and I took every day one day at a time.
Mm.
So I ended up getting a career as a respiratory therapist out there. I ended up getting a job dancing and teaching. I mean, I did everything that I had set out to do in New York. I met amazing people that they were incredible. They were my family, just people I met,
Right.
took me in and showed me the ropes and let me stay in their homes. Like, it was just incredible. It was an incredible experience in my life. I'd say that was the moment that I decided that I wasn't going to let depression and anxiety control my life and determine what my next steps would be.
Mm. That is so
So that
powerful.
was, yeah, it was an incredible experience. And I always, like, the people that I work with today, whether it's in the dance world or at the hospital, I'm always encouraging that. Just whatever you're afraid of, do
Right.
it. There's nothing that can stop you unless, like, I mean, the worst that's going to happen is it doesn't work, but at least you tried.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was gonna say. That's a beautiful testimony and just just a amazing story of overcoming, right? You
Yes.
said you were in SAC. That's the main thing. I see this, I hear this story so much, and we come from SAC. I'm still in
Yeah.
SAC, but it's a goal of mine to someday reach out of here, right? But sometimes you have to take that leap of faith, and Karina's story is spot on of a perfect example of you know this depression and anxiety could get at you. You're not the only one. There's a lot of people who go through this who won't speak on it, and it's beautiful you got to share that with the Speaking and Peeping show today. It's like, look at this. This is a perfect example, and I hope and I know this will inspire somebody. It's like, look, take that leap of faith, and just like you said, once you take it, you'll be surprised. It's like you're gonna either fail or succeed. But if you fail, you tried, and if you succeed, hey, you're probably in a better mind state and place that you are before, and it just helps you overall grow as a person. That's beautiful. That is just beautiful.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Like, and I will say, I can confidently say, if I didn't make that decision that day when I was 26, I wouldn't be where I am today, because the skills that I learned in New York,
yes.
um, as a respiratory therapist, I had always focused on critical care and ICU and emergency room. And I've always been very critical care. And when I moved to New York, I had to take what I could get. And what I could get at the time was a respiratory therapist position in sleep.
Mm.
And I learned inside out, and I ended up getting recruited by UCLA for my sleep knowledge.
Is that right?
Absolutely. And I know I'm rambling, but
No,
it's
no,
it's
no.
such an
You're all
it's
good.
such an
UCLA though.
incredible it was
Yes.
it was it like was the most incredible feeling, because I knew, wow, I would have never ended up at UCLA had I not taken the chance to go to New York, because I wouldn't have learned the skills that I learned in New York to be recruited by UCLA.
Absolutely.
So, it was really beautiful. And then to even go on from there to show like why I'm such a believer in speaking things into existence and that higher power and believing in yourself. I met the man I'm going to marry
Hmm.
in the office that I was working at UCLA.
It's crazy how it
And
all aligns like that. It is. But it's
it
like a
just,
snowball
I
effect.
mean, absolutely. And it's just been snowballing and snowballing. And then we decided recently, we both worked UCLA, and we both decided it was time for a change. And then I ended up getting recruited to another healthcare system in Monterey.
Wow.
And it was just, timing was impeccable, because I wanted to be a little bit closer to home, like
Yes.
Sacramento, so I could be with my mom and go see my dad and my grandparents.
Right.
And I was recruited because of my experience with UCLA. They
Mm.
wanted me at this healthcare system. So it was definitely that snowball of, wow, if I didn't take the leap from from LA to New York, if
Right.
I didn't learn what I learned in New York, I wouldn't have been to LA. And if I didn't work at UCLA, I would have never had the opportunity to double my salary now
Right.
and live in beautiful Monterey, California, where I'm 2 hours away from my family.
The
Like, it
rest of the
was
fam. Right.
the best decision of my life.
This is great. From that one decision, y'all, you see how much
Yeah.
catapulted her to where she's at today. Side note, congratulations, you and your fiance. That's beautiful. That's very
Thank
beautiful. And
you.
y'all coming together and just making more goals and dreams happen. That's
Yes.
beautiful. That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
y'all back coming NorCal soon. That's and near family again. So
Oh
again,
yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
always that's always the goal, just to come back home. Like, I love Sacramento with all of my being, and I
Yes.
want to be able to bring back all of the knowledge that I have and share with somebody else, and hopefully inspire somebody else to, take that leap.
Absolutely. You're definitely doing that, Corina. Just to pinpoint some of the points you just brought up, though. So you said you're a respiratory therapist. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And
Yes.
you're frontline with a lot of the healthcare issues we're encountering right now with COVID and everything.
Absolutely. Frontline. We do have a COVID unit. We have patients there. We're dealing with them every day. We have to, we're the ones responsible for the ventilators. We are
Wow.
really the healthcare workers that are on the front line risking our lives.
Mm.
We are the ones doing the aerosol generating procedures, which are the procedures that coronavirus is most contagious, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, but right now I'm the assistant director for the respiratory care department. So I
Wow.
jump in when my team needs me, but
Yes.
they are truly the ones that are just, I develop the processes,
Yes.
ironic, but I develop the different ways that they, how do I keep my staff safe? You hear all
Right.
these stories in New York about healthcare workers getting sick and dying. And so, as a healthcare leader, it's my job to make sure I have every step covered so that my staff is not infected. And I have not, I'm knock on wood, but not one of my staff members have been sick.
Mm.
And they are on the front lines. They're taking care of these patients 24/7. I jump in when they need me, but they are everything.
No, that's real, and it takes a group effort for real. It
Mhm.
sounds like you are the leader in there, but there's no I in team, right? It's that phrase. It sounds cliche, but it's true. It takes a team effort. But I just want to say this: we commend you all. It's not easy. These are not easy times right now, but for y'all all to be frontline and you know just grasping it and going in full fledged, like, we're here to help every day. That takes a lot of guts for real. So I commend all of you, including yourself, you know what I mean, for just being there front line for people you don't know, the willingness to help. It goes a long way. And I can speak for a lot of people. We thank you right now. And yeah, I remember when there wasn't a lot of PPE, I think it's called, like being supplied for y'all. And y'all still getting out there every day and like helping others. I'm like,
Mhm.
whoo, all the healthcare individuals out there, I commend you. You know what I mean? That is not an easy thing, but right.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to y'all for real.
Yes,
Corina.
thank you. And I'm so proud, we signed up for this,
Yes.
and they tell us when we, go through school that these are the things that happen. I mean, I was working on Frontlines when we had Ebola at one point and
Mm.
H1N1 coming through. And every day we work in the emergency room, someone comes through with tuberculosis. So this is really every day for us. This is just another scary situation that we have to overcome, and we'll get through it. We come up with creative ways to stay protected, and we just try to make the most of it and move forward.
Absolutely. We will overcome. I love that. Positive
Mm-hmm.
mindset. Keeping the glass half full, not half empty.
Yes.
Very nice. All right, we're gonna keep it moving. I thank you for this though, Corina. These are great answers. Next question, third question. Name one influential person you look up to and why.
I This is so tough because there are so many people that I look up to and have influenced my life. And I don't want anyone to feel slighted because, I mean, everyone from my dance teacher in high school, Miss Moore, my dad, my mom, my sisters, I mean, my students, everyone has played such a major role in my life. But if I had to choose one, it would definitely be my mom.
Mm.
Um, it took some time, like I had mentioned earlier. She was about 17, and she figured out a way to finish high school, get her RN. She's a registered nurse.
Oh wow, raising the
Um,
family.
yes,
Nice, nice.
get her RN. And, growing up, always either with my grandparents or my uncles or whatever. And behind the scenes, she was just busting her ass. And we would sometimes sleep in cars. I remember
Mm.
sleeping in a car
Wow.
multiple times because that's what we needed to do. And we would eat like Little Caesars. They had the $1 crazy breads.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
I'm real familiar
I,
with those.
yes. And I didn't know at the time, but she never let me know that we were struggling. She
Absolutely.
always made it seem like we were living a luxurious life. And so I didn't know that when we were getting crazy bread, that's all she could afford.
Right.
And she wouldn't eat because she only had, a few dollars in her pocket. So she would buy me all the crazy bread and she would figure it out.
Mm.
So she just is the most powerful being on this earth. And I'm so lucky that I had the opportunity to learn from her and watching her go to school and accomplish those goals. And she helped me with running that business. And we both just had to learn business really quick, but we did it. And
Right.
she encouraged me, and she never let me feel like there was nothing in this world I couldn't do. She always left the ball in my court.
Mm.
Well, if you want to dance in the NBA, what are you going to do?
Right.
Are you going to, train what are your steps?
Right.
It's up to you. And, that really, really, she can never be replaced. And she's the reason why I am who I am.
Mm.
And I'm just so grateful for her. She's my everything.
Absolutely. Shout out to Mama Dukes though,
Yes.
raising a
She's
queen,
so
raising a
dope.
queen. We can see here today, but it sounds like she definitely sacrificed a lot since a young age, but gave you that confidence. You said she was doing pageants as well, right? So that's what got you into that.
Yep.
So she probably
She was
got the
Miss
beauty just
Sacramento.
Miss Sacramento. That's right, Miss Sacramento. Mama Dukes. Shout out Mama Dukes.
And
Yes.
she's going to kill me for this, but
Uh
she was
oh.
also Miss Brickhouse 1989.
She's a brick da-na-na-na, house.
Hey.
Okay. Miss Brickhouse 98. All right. Shout out
Yeah,
Mama.
so
Sounds like amazing person though. Absolutely.
yes,
Very
yes.
nice. Well, shout out Mama Dukes. I never knew this, but hey, that's what this is for. We speaking and peeping. Fourth question for you though,
Yeah.
Corina. Thank you for that, by the way. We gonna keep it moving. Now, music is definitely a big part of your life, so This question probably ain't gonna be easy for you, but you're gonna have to might have to go back to your pageant days because the next question is give us one sign. Give us one song you like to listen to that uplifts you, and can you sing and rap a little bit of it?
Oh,
Uh oh.
okay. Let's see. I have been, since I was probably 7 years old. A lot of people know this, some don't, but Tupac Amaru Shakur, aka Lasani Parrish Crooks, if you're gonna give his real name.
Ooh.
No, he's been a huge force in my life. So I remember going through some of my toughest times, and I would always turn on Keep Your Head Up. And in the very beginning of the song, he says, this song goes out to my godson Elijah and a little girl named Corinne. But I always told people, he said, Corina. And listen, and you think that he's saying Corina, you believe him.
For real.
Yes. And I would just say one of my favorites, of course, don't laugh at me, but I'm going to rap this.
Okay, no, go ahead. Do your thing.
Okay. And since a man can't make one, he has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. So will the real men get up? I know you're fed up, ladies, but keep your head up.
Ooh, keeping your head up. I love it.
That was a mini rap. That was more like a poetic.
4 bars, no, 4 bars.
Sure.
Yeah, you dropping them on it. No, that's dope.
But Tupac, always, all of his music. I mean, everything from Keep Your Head Up. I'm a Bomb First fan. Mm-hmm. All of Tupac's catalogs uplift me. Everything changes. I know it's a little bit depressing, but it's still relevant today.
Absolutely.
You know?
Keeping your head up, though, is definitely a classic, though. That is definitely a classic. But that's a great line that you just, run that back, y'all, if you have to. You got to play the song. We don't want to get copyright, but go listen to that, for real. Keeping your head up, Tupac. Yeah. And she knew his whole name. I said, oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
No Wikipedia needed. What?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. No, awesome answer, though. Got the Pac in the house. Nice.
Yes.
All right, Corina. Last one for you. I have, what is your dream job? And if you are in it, what do you enjoy most about it?
So I would say I don't really have a dream job. I think it's my personality. Once I feel like I've accomplished something, as you learned earlier, I will leave and try something else. And so I can't say necessarily that I have a dream job. I think that I have a dream purpose.
Yes.
And my purpose in life is to be there and to serve others and to really impact them in some sort of way to make them feel. And making people feel is so important. And I know you as a dancer, you do everything, Miles. But I know you can relate when, when I dance, I'm making people feel. Right. And I'm moving them, whether it's a modern piece or whether it's hip hop and it's aggressive. My goal is to make that person who's out there to feel or be inspired through my movement. Right. And, taking that mentality and bringing it throughout life is always my goal, is just constantly reminding people to feel and reminding people of their greatness and to work towards their greatest potential. I mean, absolutely. We can be working anywhere. I mean, work is work, and it's what we do and who we impact and who we touch while we're doing those things. So people will always ask me, well, don't you miss dancing as your career? No, I don't. Because now I dance, for fun, and I can go take class at a studio. I don't feel the pressure of having to, have all the choreography together, or, oh, I forgot this, or, when I'm dancing at the Kings, am I going to be able to fit into my uniform this week? Am I going to be benched for weight? So those dynamics, I don't miss.
Right.
So now in healthcare, I'm able to take everything I loved about dance, making people feel, motivating
Yes.
people, encouraging, teaching them. I take what I loved about dance and teaching and movement, and I incorporate that into my healthcare career. So my staff know they are my family. I am not their normal director, manager. I mean, I have gone as far as to figure out, hey, you don't have a babysitter? Let's figure it out. Like, let's get this together. You know, just being present in their lives is most important.
Yes.
And making sure that their experience with me, you know, I have them at least 40 hours a week. They spend more time with me than they do with their kids. So it's my responsibility to make sure that I'm taking care of these people mentally, physically, emotionally. That's my job. And I would say my dream purpose would be to continue to live in that spirit with whatever I decide to do. If I decide in 2 years that I want to leave everything and be in real estate, I want to try to impact as many agents as I possibly could and move them and push them to, you know, achieve greatness and reach their fullest potential.
That's such a dope answer. That is amazing. Again, amazing. Being able to feel, showing people their purpose, and like you said, making sure everyone feels that purpose in life, right? That I think you definitely have that. You have the spirit, and especially being in healthcare, you have to have that spirit of wanting to help people, right? So it's not just in a health sense, in a sense of like, you know, physically hurt or something like that. Like you said, mental, and just in the purpose of life of like, what is my purpose in life? What am I here to do? I think you unlock that, you know, and you got that from dance, you know, and other things too. It's not just from dance, but it helped you with dance because we see that, like you said, as a teacher, you're there to help the kids grow, help the youth, whoever you're teaching, become better at what they're doing. So I think you're doing that, taking that through life with you now. It's like you want them to feel, you want them to have purpose, to help them show their purpose. And whatever you do, like you said, you want to go real estate, whatever you want to do in life, you could still bring your old tools with you and just become overall a better overall person. Excuse me.
Yeah, and your experience is what you make of it. So, you know, if you hate going to work every day, you're going to have that energy and you're going to spread that. So, you know, just making sure that every experience I'm trying to make it a positive one. And I read this book by Stephen Covey called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I took one major exercise that he has in the book, and I always give this to anyone that's stuck and doesn't really know what their next move is. And it's really helped me. And it's the, a little morbid, but it's the funeral assignment. And he talks about how you want to visualize yourself going into a loved one's funeral, like truly visualize yourself there, walking in, looking at the people, taking in the flowers, taking the emotion, getting up to the front of that church and seeing that the person who is in the casket is you. And sit in those pews and listen to what people are saying about you on your deathbed. So 4 people are going to speak. One being your closest family members, whether that's mom, dad, sister, brother. Secondly, your closest friends. Third, your colleagues or coworkers. And fourth, anybody that you may go to church with or volunteer groups. And sit there and listen to what they're saying. And as you're going through life, really try to take every step so that you are able to get what you want out of it. So what I mean by that is, do I want people, there's man, Corina was a bomb-ass dancer. Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
But what else? No,
exactly.
I know that if God forbid, if something happens to me tomorrow, I have so many students out there who will say, Corina like took me into her home. She raised me. She loved me. She gave me a roof over my head. She had my back. She drove clear across California to come get me. And like, those are the things that I would want people to say about me during my last days. And so
Absolutely.
I always give that experience or that exercise to anyone I'm working with, whether it's my staff or students that don't really know, what they're supposed to be. And I just say, work towards what you would like people to say about
Right.
you in your very last moments. And, what do you want to be known for? What is your legacy? Is it being the, best of the best? I mean, truly, that doesn't matter. What's that going to get me?
Exactly.
But the impact that I've had on these people's lives is everlasting because they're going to share that with somebody else. And it's just that ripple effect.
Right.
And that's my goal, is so that my impact is around for some time.
Absolutely. No, that's deep. Like you said, I wouldn't even consider it morbid because it's crazy. You said, one more time, what was that book you said? The book that comes
It's
from
by Stephen Covey,
Stephen Covey.
and it's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Wow. Yes. What it
Yes.
reminds me of, it's crazy you bring that up because I hear my brother, he always tells me something similar to that, but he's like, you need to watch the Bernie Mac movie, Mr. 3000, right? And he's like, what will people,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what will people say, at your funeral? Like, that's how you got to live life. It's like, what will they say? Do you want them to
Yes.
say he
Yes.
was cool at first, but then, so it's like every day you have to work to make sure that, like your last call, and they will, you want people to speak well on you, want to be known and not just remember for, like you said, oh, they were just a dancer. It's like there's so much more to
Yeah.
life than just dancing. Exactly. Oh, he was just great at this. Okay, being the greatest, but
Mm-hmm.
what did you do aside from that, right? So this is,
Right.
I feel that I'm gonna have to check that book out. But making your purpose known, right, and just being able to share it with others and know it's bigger than just passions. It's bigger. It's the small stuff, like you said, from making a trip across California for somebody that goes a long way for folks. That goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
So every day though, you have a
Right.
chance to make a new way or a new way to increase that slate for your last days. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
firm
yeah.
believer in that. I'm so happy you brought that up.
Yes. And I don't bring it up often because some people are like, wow, that's morbid. But
No, it's real
for
though.
me, it
Yes.
motivated me. And
Right.
some people, their motivations are driven by different things. But for me, I'm like, wow, that was very impactful because he's right.
Yes.
What do I want people to say? Like, the surface things, the shallow, it's like,
Exactly.
whatever. But I know at the end of the day, people are going to know I fought on the front lines for these people, and I educated these people, and I worked so hard to keep these people safe. And I'm proud of that.
Absolutely.
And, I found my purpose.
Mm. And again, it all started from that day you took that leap of faith to go
Yes.
to New York, and look, you just blossomed to absolutely amazing, beautiful woman today. It's inspiring to hear this. I didn't know a lot of it. I'm telling you, I'm learning a lot. This is no, but it's great. It is great. But yeah, let's just recap real quick. It's like from the pageants at a young age to confidence to overcoming some of the adversities you had as a teenager who skipped 2 grades, right? And just even some of the struggles mom had to deal with as well, overcoming all those adversities to become the woman you are today, to be able to say, yeah, you dance as an NBA dancer, to, frontline as a healthcare worker, a high healthcare worker at that, leader on the leadership team, the leadership board it's an amazing thing, Corina. You are an inspiring, amazing person for real.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ab-
I'm just grateful. Like, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the people who really motivated me.
Right.
My mom, Pep,
Yes. Pep. Shout out
uh,
Pep.
always. I mean, I've been so blessed to be surrounded by the most incredible people and incredible leaders. And I'm just a product of my environment, and I'm so grateful for that.
That's amazing. Keep going with all you're doing. I'm sure that you have greater goals ahead of you that you will reach, and keep shooting for the stars. Sounds cliche, but I know, God is not done with you yet. You have many hills and many things to accomplish, more in the future for you, but keep doing what you're doing, Karina. You are inspiring, great spirit, loving spirit. And I thank you for being on the show today, speaking and peeping. Any last remarks you want to give the folks? Just
Oh
last thing, shout
man.
outs, tell them where they can find you.
Well, no, not really. I mean, my Insta is Corina Bianca _, but
Okay.
really, my main thing, I just want people to know that whatever it is that they want to do, they can do it. Just create that plan, have your vision, get through those steps and make it happen and just go for it. I know so many people who never just took the next step because they were afraid they would fail. But
Right.
what happens if you don't? You know, you never know unless you take that step. And so that would be my last thing, is just no matter what, take a step out there, go
Yes.
for it, and see what happens.
See what happens. Find a way and make a way. The
Yes.
beautiful, the loving Corina Bianca, y'all. Speaking and peeping, we out.